to Conversation with Our Kids for 11th March 2023. My name is Xavier, one of your hosts for today's show.
And my name is Layla, also your host.
We have another thrilling show for you today. This week, we went to a yoga session with our parents with Mrs. Dale Amory from Imagine Yoga and Sound Studio.
Yay! We had so much fun learning more about yoga techniques. I'm not so sure about the parents. On today's show, we have our new yoga teacher, Miss Dale Amory.
Welcome to Conversation with Our Kids. Mrs. Amory, thank you for coming to the show and thank you for teaching us about yoga.
You're very welcome.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and the work that you do?
Oh, sure. Okay. So I've been living in St. Kitts for 28 years. And I married a man from St. Kitts who actually was one of the founders of this radio station, Mr. Reggie Amory. And we had two beautiful kids. And then I started a private school. And when I did that, I found out that I was very passionate about helping children. I love children. So anyway, when I finished with the school, I decided that I wanted to train in yoga to be able then to share it with all of the children in St. Kitts and all of the schools. So that's my goal right now, part of what I do. And I also use sound therapy when I do the yoga to help with meditation, because meditation is also a very big part of the whole yoga science, because yoga is actually a science.
Thank you, Mrs. Dale. You know what? We should do an icebreaker.
Yes, Xavier, that's a good idea.
We are going to play Guess the Yoga Pose. We did some of these poses in the class with Miss Dale. So let's see how many we can get right.
We'll each pull a pose from the table and guess the pose. We'll play 2 rounds. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, so who's gonna go first? Okay. So this one. Wow.
We did that one the other day.
This is probably the cow pose. Is it?
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yay, good Layla.
Okay. She fly away. Okay. Which pose is this? Oh. Which pose is this?
That looks camel.
Very good, Layla. You were paying attention.
Let's see. Miss Dale, you want that?
I gotta play? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, I know what this is, but I want to know if you guys know.
Tree pose.
All right. Good job. Excellent.
Yeah, I am not sure about that. I am not sure about that one.
Oh, okay. This is the lotus pose.
Yes, or some people even call that easy pose.
So let's see. Can you tell me what?
The cat pose, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good, girls. Excellent.
Wasn't that fun? I feel like we know all the poses right. All the poses now, right, Layla?
I really do know them now. It's very interesting. Okay, guys, we'll now take a short break to shout out our sponsors, Harper's. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Hello, this is Harper's.
You got a clock, you got a chair, you got some headphones.
Yep, we got that.
What about a stapler and printer?
Yep, we got that.
Do you have a floor mat too?
Yep, we got that.
Tell me you got some cables and a projector.
Yeah, we got that.
Welcome back to Conversation with Our Kids. We have a few questions for our guest, Miss Dale, who is a yoga instructor, and we had a special class with her on Thursday, and our parents also took part. Thank you again, Miss Dale, for inviting us. Can you tell us how you got into yoga and what yoga is for those who may not know?
Sure. So I've been doing yoga for a lot of years on a very casual basis. But as I mentioned before, I was involved in opening and running a private school. And once I found the passion for kids and understanding the importance of developing the whole kids. So not only working on their academics, but also working with them on an emotional and a social level. So I understood that yoga could do that because yoga is actually a science that was developed thousands of years ago in India. It's one of the greatest gifts India ever gave the world. And it's still going strong today, maybe even stronger than ever. So why it's called a science is because it teaches people how to manage their whole self, their mind, their body, their energies, and their emotions. So I think this is something very important for everybody to know. And I think that using the classroom and education as a means to in which to teach people at a very young age could be very transformative for the people themselves and for the people and everything around them.
Mrs. Dale, you did some breathing techniques with us before we started. How does that help kids and what do the techniques do?
Okay, so your breath is a very powerful tool that we all have to have because without it, guess what? We expire. We can't live anymore. So our breath is something that we do on a regular basis, but bringing our awareness to it helps us to focus and helps us to concentrate on the here and now. So the other thing that it does, and some of the breathing techniques we did on Thursday, one was called box breathing. So we actually, if you can remember, we took a nice deep breath in, and then we held the breath for a while, and then we allowed the breath to go. So what that does is it helps to calm down your body, and when your body becomes calm, your mind also becomes calm. We spend a lot of time in our minds worrying about things that have happened in the past or worrying about the future. But there's two things that you need to understand, beautiful girls. Once something happens, there's nothing you can do to change it. So we have to learn to let the past go, take from it either blessings or a lesson, and then for the future, do we know what's going to happen in 5 minutes' time? Is it guaranteed? No, it's not. So where do you think life actually happens? When does life actually happen? Right here, right now. This is where your life really happens. And where does your life happen?
Here.
Here, inside you. Okay? So that's what yoga teaches you. All right? And the breath is a very powerful tool to help you keep focused on the here and now so that you can do your best in that moment. Okay? Because, for example, if you're running a race, okay, and if you're looking around, looking at what all the other people are doing in the race, do you think that's going to be good for you?
No.
No, it's not, because you have to focus on
Yourself.
yourself. That's right, and the best that you can do. Okay? So your breath again is always something that you have with you. Nobody can take it away from you. So you can use it to help calm yourself in any situation you're in. Okay? Did that answer your question for you?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
What are some yoga poses you recommended for kids to learn and why?
I think kids should learn all yoga poses. All right? There's no yoga pose that you shouldn't learn. All right? And there is a lot of them. And there's different versions of certain poses. And as you become more in tune to your body and used to doing yoga, then you will be able to do the poses differently. For example, can you guys remember on Thursday when we were sitting down, we extended our legs out and we did the forward fold?
Yes.
Can you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I think some of you were bending your knees because you found it hard to stretch your legs all the way out and then fold your body over so that your belly could come to your thighs, right? But the more you practice that, the more you will be able to go into the pose and feel the stretch up the back of your legs, right? And then you can add on to that as you go further. It's like our downward dog. You don't get it exactly right the first time you do it. Yoga is like anything else that you learn. It's a practice. Practice when you started to learn how to ride a bike. You practice with your alphabet first when you started learning it. And I think the other day we talked about learning those times tables, right? Takes practice. Yoga is the same thing. So there's no yoga pose that you shouldn't learn to do. All right? But if you wanted some to start off your yoga practice, then you can do, again, your breath work is really, really important. There's a sequence called sun salutations, which is basically you're blessing the sun. And we all know we get a lot of sun around here. So that's a sequence of 12 poses, which would be very nice for you to learn. And I would be very, very happy to teach you. Okay, so tell your teachers, tell your principal that we're around and we're willing to come in and show you guys how to do this, okay? Perfect. Thank you.
Do you think more parents should come and see you to learn about yoga and meditation, and why?
Oh my gosh, yes, please, please, everybody, bring a little bit of this into your life. And the reason I say that is because it just helps us to become a better version of ourselves, because it helps us to relieve. In our busy worlds, we get wrapped up in what we're doing. We all have a long list of what needs to be done, the to-do list, a lot of people call it. We also are concerned about what other people are thinking when we're doing things. We're also concerned we're at work and we're already thinking about what we're going to do when we go home. So, and what that does is it takes the focus away from where life really happens. And when and where does life really happen, girls?
Right here.
Right here, right now. Okay? So, what yoga helps you to do is to stay present. Present in this moment. It helps you to relax your body. It helps you to relax your mind. It helps you to relax your emotions and your energies. Okay? So, it's actually a science that tells us how to manage ourselves. And once we can manage ourselves and become the better person that we want to be, then we're able to help everybody and everything around us to do the same thing. So yes, I believe everybody could use a little bit of yoga in their life, or a big lot of yoga. And everybody's different. So depending on who they are, what they have going on in their lives and stuff, even if you start it with 5 minutes a day, it could make a big difference. And do you know how many 5 minutes we have in a day? That's a big question. I'm going to answer it for you. There's 288. Okay, so we're going to take 84 out of that for sleep time. So then What we have left is 204 opportunities of 5 minutes to do something for our own self, our own well-being, our own mental health, our own physical health. Okay? Thank you.
We have to try some interesting sound devices. Did you bring any to share with our audience? Can you show us and tell us more about sound and vibrations?
Of course, I'd love to. Okay, so what I've brought with me here today is I've brought my singing bowls and I've also brought my chime, which are 2 instruments that I played for you at the yoga studio on Thursday. All right, so Zai, you were doing a really good job of playing the bowl before. So if you would like to go ahead and play that bowl. I'm sorry? You want to do the yellow one? Absolutely, sweetheart. Let's take the white one back. Oops. Now you can hear them, and you can play the yellow bowl. That is an easier bowl to play, for sure. So while she's playing the bowl, I'll tell you a little bit about the vibrations. Go ahead, sweetheart. So what's happening here is actually has a mallet in her hand, and she's lightly applying pressure to the mallet as she circles it around the rim of the sound bowl, making the sound, which is actually created by vibrations and frequencies within the bowl, which is what creates sound. So when you're experiencing sound, you not only hear it, it causes vibrations in your body, and it actually resonates with every cell in your body, and it helps to bring them back into balance and into harmony. And that's important because once that happens, it relieves stress from your body, it relieves tension from your body, can relieve pain. So this sound therapy, as it's called therapy, is actually very therapeutic for your body and your mind. All right? So it also can help you just to relax and let go of some of the chatter that we have going on in our mind on a constant basis. And that's why it's a form also of meditation. All right? So, because do you girls know what meditation is?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what meditation is. So meditation is actually just taking some very quiet time to go within, clear your mind. And sometimes people find that hard because they have so much going on in their minds. All right? But what happens when I play these special instruments is that the frequencies and vibrations are vibrating the cells and resonating with the cells in your body, so they're actually helping them to relax. And our whole body is made up of cells, so when they relax, our body relaxes and our mind relaxes. And like I said, this is another very ancient healing modality, but the cool thing about it now is that physics and quantum science is actually proving the benefits of it to the point where instruments like this are being used in hospitals and being used by medical doctors. So I think that's pretty cool. What do you girls think?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do you want to hear the other instruments?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to give that one a try, Layla?
Yes.
That's called a chime. Just circle it around. There you go. Do you think that sound is relaxing? Yeah, it is, right?
It's cool.
Yeah. And now what I brought this morning is actually a surprise. We didn't use this one on Thursday. And this is one of my favorites. And this is one of the ones that I get the most feedback on when I actually have a sound bath at my studio. So listen to this. Now, isn't that something?
It sounds like rain.
It sounds like rain.
Heavy rain.
Heavy rain. But let me show you how that's happening. And it's actually called an ocean drum. Because, like you said, it does sound like rain, but it also sounds like the waves washing up on the shore and going back. It's the ebb and the flow of the waves, right? Just like the ebb and flow of our breath, we breathe in and we breathe out, okay? So, yeah, so that's one of my favorites, along with my gongs, of course, but I couldn't bring my gongs this morning.
It's so big.
Yeah, did you enjoy the gong? Yeah, that's so cool. Okay.
Yeah. Miss Dale, how do kids and more parents get involved, and how can they reach out to you? I think all kids should have the experience we had on Thursday. I slept like a baby after.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. That's wonderful. Well, if anybody's interested in learning more about what I do at my studio, you can follow me on any social media. It's Imagine Yoga St. Kitts. So I always tell everybody, just imagine yoga in St. Kitts, but you don't have to put in the end. It's Imagine Yoga St. Kitts. I think if you Google yoga in St. Kitts, my website does come up, and I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. But what I'm really excited to share with you guys today is that I am really working with other people, and we are putting a program together for adults and for children that will include all of this, but so much more for your health and your well-being at a mental level, at an emotional level. And actually, it's called Be Me. And it's spelled B-E-E-M-E. And B stands for, what do you think the B stands for?
Better. No.
What's this?
Body.
Body. E stands for?
Emotions.
Good for you. Excellent. The other E stands for? Energy. M stands for the? Mind. And the other E stands for, and it's not a word I've used yet, so I'm not going to challenge you to. It's for environment. Okay, so it's your body, your emotions, your energies, your mind, and your environment. And all of those areas is actually what makes up your life. So we're going to teach you how to look after all of these areas of your own life for everybody, and how they interact, and why it's so important to look after all of them, because what happens in one will affect all of the others. All right? So, and we spend a lot of time looking after our physical body, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. But we're so much more than just our physical body. And this is not something that's been traditionally taught, so we're going to help you learn about it, okay, with our program. So that's something else that if you'd like to find out more about that, it's Be Me Project on Instagram and on Facebook, and our website will be launched real soon.
Mrs. Dale, thank you so much for joining us on Conversation with Our Kids and telling us all, sharing your knowledge with us and our audience.
We'll always remember to be the best versions of ourselves because of you.
Oh, thank you. That means more to me than you could ever know. See, my energies just reacted to that. I got goosebumps all over my body, and I felt it in my heart. Thank you so much.
I am Xavier.
And I am Leila. Thank you for listening, everyone. And thank you, Miss Dale and Marie, for visiting Win FM today. Tune in next Saturday at 10 a.m. on Win FM 98.9 and Win Media SKN for more conversation with our kids.